Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Horizon IndyCar Series. It's Murph, it's Ryan Eric King, and we're set to bring you 200 miles of action, Ryan, from one of my favorite tracks. It is the new and improved Kentucky Speedway.
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful day here in northern Kentucky. It's a track that I know you on back on the IndyCar schedule, and it's produced great racing in, the years it was part of the IndyCar series.
It does produce great racing. This track, of course, is the reverse of Texas Motor Speedway. Kentucky was reconfigured to include the wider and somewhat more flat turns 3 and 4. At Texas, the oblong end, the opposite end, is turns 1 and 2. It's not nearly as wide as Texas here at Kentucky, and it's not nearly as wide here at Kentucky. It is also a little bit more steeply banked. The track, though, Ryan, this track has not been repaved. It is rough. It is tumble. It is very, very, very hard to get a hold of the pavement around this place, and that can lead to some pretty interesting racing, especially on older tires.
Interesting, especially after last week's race, after we had a much different oval last week.
We were last week at Michigan, pretty much as wide, as flat out as you can make it. Kentucky, you're going to have to lift. You're going to have to work that throttle pedal. You're going to have to do different stuff in order to get around here fast. One of the guys that I look forward to racing with a lot. Mark Cohn, he texted me earlier today. He said, Murph, how do I get around here fast? I said, well, you're going to have to learn to lift in turns 3 and 4. Nobody wants to do that. And on new tires, Ryan, it feels like you have unlimited speed through there, but you really don't. You can cook the right front pretty quick over there if you go flat out. So learn to slow down, and you learn to slow down over there in 3 and 4. And the other thing I told him was, do not be afraid to use the high line and hunt clean air, even when you don't think you need it. The big secret around Kentucky, Ryan, is not just clean air through 3 and 4, where you can obviously feel it, but getting clean air in the draft through turns 1 and 2 can be huge as well.
Yeah, we're effectively, you have to keep your tires under you, and like every bit of downforce on your front wing helps.
It most certainly does. We're looking at. We're going to go ahead and get the current standings up here for practice. Liam O'Sell, or is it qualifying now? We had a new session, so I'm kind of a little bit behind the times, Ryan. Are they qualifying now, or are we still in practice mode?
We're still in practice.
So we've got 2 minutes of practice left. Liam O'Sullivan right now is the quickest car on the racetrack. Eric Peterson is second. Gary Lovern, Mason Mitchum, Hugo Galez round out the top 5. Andrew Surowiak, Joseph Klein, Mark Cohn, Frank Wynn, and Joseph Morales are the top 10. There were a ton of cars in the other session, and they're migrating over. We had 24 entries. I believe we're going to have 24 entries tonight, and that's a great turnout, Ryan, for a Wednesday night here.
Yep, it's a great turnout tonight, and we've just been advanced to qualify.
We have just been advanced to qualifying, and so we are going to get rid of the Van Halen music. We're going to show you some racing action. Let's get rid of the scoring pylon because, well, we don't need that right now. We don't need that either, and we're going to show some qualifying action. And why don't we hop on board this man right here? This is Eric Peterson, and we're going to show our fans at home exactly what it looks like to qualify a car around Kentucky. You can kind of see him there. What's he doing sitting on pit road, Ryan, kind of revving the engine a little bit? What's Eric Peterson doing there?
He's trying to heat his engine up.
Yeah, so everybody knows when you see a race car on pit lane at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway or wherever else it may be, they're heating. They've got the carts there, right? The pit carts with the lines that circulate the fluids and so forth back and forth. Well, they don't do that in the sim. So the cars drop in cold, and in order to get the engines to the correct temperature, you'll see guys kind of sit on pit road a little bit, warm the motors up, because there is a correct temperature profile that is used to make these cars go fast. Eric Peterson now on the course. It is a beautiful Kentucky afternoon here, 71 degrees in the air, 119 on the track for qualifying, as we see Eric Peterson come across the line to start his lap 1. Now, I would guess, Ryan, that this first lap is going to be somewhat slower, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, it tends to be the case on ovals of the size where the first lap is slightly slower than your second if you do everything perfectly.
And it should be. And so you'll see a lot of guys in one lap qualifying, especially. There goes Peterson, flashes through 24.638 as you see it. 6:54. That's good for second quick. A lot of guys, if it's single lap qualifying, and I'm guilty of this, I will go very, very slowly on the first lap. Almost until I get to the start-finish line to start lap 1 and then accelerate. And what that does is it allows you to save just a little bit on the tires, and that little bit of extra grip can make all the difference. Eric Peterson will jump up to second quick. Let's see. We've got Mason Mitchum on the line. He's taking the Votive Racing League machine onto the racing surface. Here goes Mason Mitchum. We can tell you that Chris Stouffer was nabbed for speeding on pit lane, and so Stouffer not able to make a qualifying run as yet. He'll have to try again. Mitchum, though, is doing kind of what I had said, Ryan. You see how he's going really slow? He's just above that 100-mile-an-hour threshold until he gets to the line. Watch this. He's going to get to the line. He's going to turn it loose. There he goes. He did a little bit earlier. He came out, did it coming off of turn 4. But that's how you've got to do it in order to have the maximum grip in the tires for lap 2. See how he's up against the wall too, Ryan?
Yeah, building momentum, keeping the speed high.
Not hurting the tires. You want to keep those as cool as possible. You see he gives it a little bit of an extra lift going through 3 and 4 so he can accelerate early. Comes off, and here's Mason Mitchum. This is going to be a quick lap, Ryan. No lift through turns 1 and 2. He keeps it nice and tidy off of turn 2. He's going to go back out to the wall. That's on purpose. You do not want to go all the way down to the bottom in turns 3 and 4 because there is a bump and it is very slick down there. That line just about right for Mason Mitchum. He's going to flash across 24.457, and that is going to be good enough, ladies and gentlemen, to flash to the top of the scoring pylon. Well done for Mason Mitchum. Now here's a bidder that you would think is going to have a shot to knock him off. We're riding on the roll hoop. Chris Stouffer. Stouffer, he's coming down for his second lap now. 25.376. His first one. Let's see if Chris Stouffer has enough steam. His teammate Craig Forsyth just went third quick. Ryan. There's Stouffer.
Only good enough for 10th.
Yeah, Stouffer didn't quite get there. The last car that would need to qualify would be Montgomery Spencer. And here you see Montgomery. He is in that Google Chrome Arrow McLaren livery. Through the start-finish line, down through 1 and 2. He's starting lap number 2. He blinks out because the session has been red flag, Ryan. That's the end of qualifying.
And yeah, time to grid out for the race.
Oh, I love me some Kentucky, Ryan Eric King. I love me some Kentucky, and I'll tell you who else loves Kentucky. Mason Mitchum, what I would consider a shock pole over Liam O'Sullivan. Mitchum is going to start 2:15.137 from 2:14.356 from O'Sullivan. It was not close for that top spot. Second row, Craig Forsyth and Bluey. Jeff Heisong himself, he'll start fourth. Jari Brubaker, Gary Lovren are going to go fifth and sixth. Matty Wagner and Sheridan Wade make up row number 4. Eric Peterson and the aforementioned Chris Stouffer. That's an experienced row number 5, Ryan. Keep an eye on those two. In 11th, Andrew Surwack, Alex Miller will start 12th. Then Lith Fox, Hugo Gallas, Mark Cohn, Frank Wynn, Sam Cosner, Nate Fields, Joseph Klein, Turner Johnson will round out the top 20. In 21st, Jacob Wilson, Montgomery Spencer will roll 22nd. Daniel Durazo and Joseph Morales did not take time. And our friend Shane Coker is in race control. That is your starting lineup here at Kentucky, and we're getting ready to roll away, Ryan.
It should be an interesting race. Obviously, focus out of the gate. Stay safe in the opening laps, because at a place this relatively flat, it is you're putting your race in the hands of the driver on your inside during these opening corners.
Yeah, you most certainly are. You want to make sure. As we look, that's about the front 10 there. We'll go back. Andrew Surwack in the middle in the Gatorade car. Back to Mark Cohn in your picture. Yeah, you want to make sure on that. Initial start that you've got all the tools in the car adjusted correctly, Ryan. This track, along with most 1.5 mile ovals, is absolutely notorious for snap loose conditions in turn 1, lap 1, if you don't have the weight jacker turned down just a little bit. So these guys are definitely going to want to take care of that big field, and they are pulling away, Ryan. We're just about ready to start our race off today, sir. There's the pace car, and there is Mason Mitchum forming up behind him. What do you expect out of this one? You think we're going to see it at 133 laps? They can do just about 50 on fuel if they've got a full tank. So it's an easy two stopper. But this track, just like Texas, absolutely chews up tires. And so, do we have any tire limits tonight? That's another question. Don't know if Ryan might be having a little bit of a technological issue there. Cannot hear him. We are getting ready to come to the green flag. You've got Mason Mitchum on the inside, Liam O'Sullivan to the outside, Forsyth and Heisong row 2, Brubaker and Lovren row 3. Pace car is off. Mason Mitchum has hit the loud pedal. We've got a green flag. The race is on. Mason Mitchum heads toward turn 1 with a big lead over O'Sullivan and Forsyth. They're going to battle for second. O'Sullivan has it.
And the entire field safely through turns 1 and 2.
They are safely through turns 1 and 2. And look at how high they come off of turn number 4, Ryan. Down the front straightaway, everybody just kind of filing out. They're going to get single file here. I don't believe anybody had any contact, although Chris Stouffer is really high, as is Alex Miller. If Alex Miller didn't make contact there, buddy, I don't know how he didn't, because he was up there. He was up there with Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg. Now he drops below Andrew Surwack to the bottom. Surwack, that's just a little bit of net coat off the wall. They're going to do battle for 11th. Surwack will take it. Miller second. Lith Fox is an interested observer in 13th.
I'm surprised. I'm as surprised as you are that they've been able to keep it clean so far.
I mean, this is the kind of racing that we're going to see Sheridan Wade all over. I mean, he looked really, really, really loose coming off of turn number 4, just about smack the outside wall. That's going to give the opportunity for Gary Lovren to maybe build a run toward that outside. He doesn't do it, though. We continue to go green. Now, Chris Stouffer, Matt Wagner, they're gonna have a disagreement over P8. Stouffer's going to have that. Wags to the bottom. He's going to be in P9. And look at Eric Peterson, the old grizzled veteran. He's back there in 10th. Peterson, he's having a swell opener to this. Now I want you to notice something at home. Watch Gary Lovern and Chris Stouffer. You see how Stouffer is fading higher than Sheridan Wade in front of him? Lovern took the clean air on the bottom, closed up a little bit, and then they're all going to kind of accordion back together. It's going to take Ryan a good 15 to 20 laps to get some heat into these tires, sort those babies out, and understand that this field will separate, just not yet.
Yeah, and pretty much the real movers in the field are going to be the people who could take advantage during this opening section.
Very much so. You want to get your passing done here at Kentucky, just like Texas. You want to get your passing done early. You do not want to wait until the tires have gone off, because you may be faster than the guy in front of you, but by the time you catch him, you've used up all of your grip, and you just can't go anywhere. Yari Brubaker goes around Jeff Heisong, put Brubaker to 4th, Heisong to 5th, and now Heisong, he's going to fall under fire from Sheridan Wade looking for that spot. Wade can't quite get there, but he is all over the Bluey car in front of him. Watching from the roll bar, Sheridan Wade looking out. Jeff Heisong trying to get back to the outside of Yari Brubaker. Can't quite make it. He's going to fade to the outside, and watch Sheridan Wade close up quickly behind these two cars in front and watch them offset each other. That's Heisong on the bottom. He's going to take a lane higher than Forsyth up there in 3rd. Yari Brubaker all the way at the top of the speedway. So much extra momentum. He's going to hold the position on Heisong, and Wade continues to close on Jeff Heisong. Just a tick of the watch quicker that time through, Ryan. He's going to be there in another lap.
Yeah, you're right. He's going to be there in another lap, and he'll have to find his way around, whether it be doing what Brubaker is doing and going to the top of the track. But you always have to just hunt for the clean air. That's typically the fastest way around here, whether high or low on the racetrack.
Yeah, you most certainly do. And there we go. There's the shot on Craig Forsyth. Yari Brubaker has gone past Forsyth now. Put Yari to 3rd. You're going to move Craig Forsyth to 4th. And Jeff Heisong is coming. And you can definitely see that offset. Here goes Heisong. He's gonna climb to the high side. Let's get on board with Heisong. He is all over Craig Forsyth. Now, Forsyth is going to surge ahead. He's going to have the bottom. Heisong is going to lift. Heisong now has Sheridan Wade to his inside as they fight. This is 4th, 5th, and 6th. There's Heisong. And watch, he's able to pull such a huge advantage on that high side, turn 3 and 4. Ryan, he's going to have to be careful, though, if he didn't burn up his right rear tire.
Yeah, you're right about that. It is far easier on your tires to do in turns 1 and 2 because of the higher banking, but doing that in 3 and 4, the higher speeds, the larger loads on your tires, that's not sustainable. You can't be doing that all day.
No, you can use it. You can use it for a little bit, but then you have to get back down to the bottom and start driving a little bit slower. It's quicker. It's easy to make up positions, but you will fry the tires. You will fry the tires doing that long term. Speaking of frying tires, around Craig Forsyth goes Jeff Heisong. You saw it off the bumper. Meanwhile, behind them, and you can't really see it from here, but Chris Stouffer is all over Sheridan Wade. It's not going to be long before Stouffer has made up a position as well. Now, Ryan, do not tell my daughter about this bluey paint scheme. She'll be in here and she won't leave. She'll be the biggest Jeff Heisong fan on the planet.
Oh, but yeah, we'll see how far up the field Heisong can take the bluey car today.
We'll definitely see. Mason Mitchum, do not want to discount the effort from this man right here. Mason Mitchum has pulled out to about anywhere between 4/10 and a half a second lead over Liam O'Sullivan. He sat on the pole by a huge margin, and Mason Mitchum has more or less maintained that lead since the start of the race. Liam O'Sullivan is there. He's anywhere between 3 and 5 tenths of a second behind. He just can't seem to get through the bubble of about 3 tenths of a second on Mason Mitchum. We're going to ride on board the roll bar with Liam O'Sullivan. And Ryan, tell me what you see from the camera on top of the fast Englishman.
Let's see. Well, this time around, Mitchum is taking the high line for 3 and 4. It hasn't been the case every time, but it's seemingly taking that high line is putting him at a disadvantage where Mitchum's pulling away.
Yeah, so Liam O'Sullivan is going to the second groove. He's going to that high line, and thank you so much, Will Stearns. Matty Simpson started using the Bluey scheme first, he says. Well, Matty's an Australian, so that kind of makes sense. But here you're kind of seeing why it can be so difficult for the guy in second to catch the leader here at Kentucky. Mason Mitchum has the preferred line. He's on the bottom. Liam O'Sullivan has to offset through turns 3 and 4. The only way he can do that is to go high. Liam is smart enough to know, too, he can't stay up there and fry his tires. And so he's lifting the same amount as he would to run low, and that just allows Mitchum incrementally, lap after lap, to pull away. The problem for Liam O'Sullivan, Ryan, is Jari Brubaker is all over the back, and he is looking to see if Jari is looking to see if he can't go by Liam O'Sullivan. Caution's out on the speedway. It's Joseph Klein, Andrew Surwack. Turn number, what is that? Turn number 2?
I don't know what Surwack was doing there.
Well, let's find out. You know, that almost looks like he could have had some sort of a mechanical issue. He's going through 3 and 4. He drops down to the inside in front of Frank Wynn and Lith Fox. You see him in front of Wynn behind Lovern. That does look like almost like an equipment issue to me, Ryan. Like he was trying to get out of the way or something like that.
Like it looks like Surwack was just riding the transition for too long.
Well, he got down there, and he slides up in front. That's Lith Fox there, and Lith is going to take to the catch fence. Surwack, I think you might be right. I think he might have been on the transition for too long. Luckily, we've got a fast repair in the series. Lith Fox, though, has already punched out of the number 47, so a tough end of the night for Lith Fox. Andrew Surwack will take the tow and get back into the fight after the fast repair. We've got pit stops here, Ryan. Everybody has come onto the pit lane to take service.
Yeah, we're at that point in a run where it'd be dumb not to take the free pit stop.
Yeah, well, and not only that, it doesn't hurt you. As you see the race off of pit road, it doesn't really hurt you to take a pit stop here because with the caution, we're probably, Ryan, we're probably just at the edge of being able to make this on one stop. Just at the edge of it. I would think. Yeah, so it may be that this is in the window. 22 of 133 complete. Mason Mitchum leads it. Liam O'Sullivan, Jari Brubaker, Jeff Heisong, Craig Forsyth are your top 5. Sheridan Wade is 6th. Chris Over is 7th. Matt Wagner is 8th. And there's Matty Wags in the number 5. Eric Peterson finally got his win in the Dark Horse Series. He is 9th, and Gary Lovern is going to round out the top 10. Mark Cohn is right behind him. Cohn had a bad qualifying effort, but he has steadily marched to the front. He is 11th. Frank Wynn, Turner Johnson, Daniel Durazo, Hugo Gallas round out the top 15. And then it's Jacob Wilson, Nate Fields, Morales, Alex Miller, Sam Cosner, Joseph Klein, Montgomery Spencer. Andrew Surwack remains under the tow. He is now 3 laps in arrears. He'll get the fast repair once his car gets back to pit lane, but where he wrecked, he's going to have to be under tow all the way around, Ryan, and that's going to be 3 to 4 minutes to get him back there.
Yeah, they do. Not day done, but multiple laps down.
Yeah, not day done, but definitely day needs some help, right, to get back into the fight, to get back into contention, to have any sort of a finish. And that's a long day when your laps down and you know it. It's a long day. And so Andrew Surwack has his work cut out for him. But hey, there's 110 laps to go, Ryan. Anything can happen. Wilder things have happened. And so you never really quite know. The pace car is getting ready to get off of the Kentucky Speedway, and we're getting ready to have an absolutely fantastic race. 110 laps to go. Mitchum, O'Sullivan, Brubaker, Hysong, Forsyth. Pace car is going to turn to the left. There you see the drivers coming into the restart zone. And we're going to get into what I call the Mike Rigney seat for this one. There you see the restart from the fisheye. How about that from the tower? Everybody safely through turns 1 and 2. Now we'll hit 3 and 4 for the leaders. You see everybody spread out. Liam O'Sullivan is desperately working. He knows he's got to strike while the iron is hot here, Ryan.
Yeah, and he's coming in fast like a homing missile.
Yeah, he's going to have to do it. He's going to have to get that great run down the backstretch. He's going to have to drill the high side, and he's going to have to get alongside Mason Mitchum. We're going to get on board with Liam O'Sullivan here. We'll show you the telemetry as he works to get by Mason Mitchum. He just can't quite make that stick on the high side. Mitchum gets the advantage going down the front stretch. O'Sullivan going to have to rebuild the run.
And he's seemingly, O'Sullivan, he's in the toe down the back straight, but he's not really closing any dip.
Yeah, he's not. And what you need to do, we'll get on board here of Liam O'Sullivan, and I'll kind of explain what I'm seeing, Ryan, with the telemetry and so forth. So what Liam O'Sullivan needs to do, you see him in 6th gear there. He's going all the way down to 4th gear, and he's following now in the tire tracks. What he needs to do is lift a little bit sooner, dial a little bit more weight jacker in there, and really try to make that thing cut a little bit before the apex on the high side, so he can hammer the throttle coming off, keep the wheel straight, and get a much bigger run down the front. In order to make this move on Mason Mitchum, you really need to be almost have your nose right in the gearbox of the car in front of you exiting turn 2, so you can make that move. But have we considered another option here, Ryan?
What is the other option?
The other option is that Velocity Online racing machine with Liam O'Sullivan, I believe he might be playing it a little coy. We mentioned that there was 110 laps to go at the restart. You can reasonably, because at Kentucky you lift, you can reasonably do 50 laps full rich. It would not surprise me if Liam O'Sullivan has that car turned down, and he's not going to try to make this on one more stop. Kentucky is a track historically, Ryan, that historically does lend itself to long green flag runs. And if that's the case, my friend, you might be able to turn it all the way down, make it one stop, and walk into victory lane using the brains, not necessarily the right foot. Although Liam O'Sullivan has got Jari Brubaker all over the backside of him. Jari, he's not waiting. Jari Brubaker wants to go to the front.
Yeah, Jari right now is the stick to the victory lane carrot right now, because Liam while he isn't gaining a lot of time on Mason, he's not losing any time. He's sitting in a sweet spot, but he has Jari behind him, threatening to take second place away.
Yeah, you don't want to give Jari Brubaker second place, but you don't want to lose sight of Mason Mitchum either. And I agree with you. Liam O'Sullivan in that Vor machine is in a pretty sweet spot. I really do think he's saving fuel, Ryan.
It looks like that's the strategy. Obviously, there have been many occasions where the podium finishing drivers come in and say, no, I definitely wasn't thinking about that.
I tell you, one driver who's definitely thinking about that is this man right here, Craig Forsyth. He follows in the tire tracks of 4D Racewear teammate Chris Stouffer, and Stouffer and Forsyth and I had some wild battles at different virtual tracks all over this great service. But I guarantee you, Craig Forsyth is thinking about that fuel number and how long he needs to go to make it to one more stop. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, without a doubt. And he is, coming up on the back of Christopher, and it's only a matter of time before this Forsyth machine makes the move.
I don't think so. Listen for the lift. Do you hear how long he was out of the power and downshifting there, and how that car really has no real kind of pull off the corner? That tells me Craig Forsyth is saving fuel, as only Craig Forsyth in the sim knows how to do. He's very much in that Scott Dixon category, at least in the sim when it comes to saving fuel. And now he's going to make a liar out of me and try to go around Christopher. No, see, he didn't get there. He let off just enough so that Chris pulls him along, but he's not actually going to try to make the move, Ryan.
Yeah, you're probably right here. You're probably right.
Well, I've been wrong a lot when it comes to Craig Forsyth, but you can usually count on Craig for saving gas. We'll go back to Liam O'Sullivan and Jari Brubaker, because that is the battle right here. That is second and third. Want to kind of keep tabs on that. Do want to come back here and take a look at some drivers we don't talk about a whole lot. Turner Johnson, in a very similarly painted machine to the leader Mason Mitchum. Jacob Wilson is 15th. He just got 15th. He just passed Turner Johnson in the very similarly livered Votive Racing League machine. So move Jacob Wilson to 15th, Turner Johnson to 16th. We haven't talked much about those guys, but they are in a battle. Another one of guys we haven't talked about, and this is a lot of cars here. You've got Frank Wynn, Gary Lovern, and Daniel Durazo. Wynn is 10th, Lovern 11th, Durazo 12th, as Andrew Surwack is coming back out onto the racetrack. Meanwhile, Montgomery Spencer also has a meatball, so we're going to keep tabs on that. But Lovern, he's going to try to go around the high side of Daniel DeCat and move himself into 11th. This is a nice fight here too, Ryan.
Oh, looking back at the replay, it seems like, Spencer just got tagged from behind going into one by Andrew Surwack.
So Andrew Surwack not having a banner night. We're gonna see if we can't get in the Wayback Machine here for Montgomery Spencer and see what has happened with him. Here's Spencer, and he's going down the main straightaway. He's got Surwack behind him, and I don't know, Ryan, but that's the contact. There would be no reason for Spencer to be lifting there, nor would there be much of a reason for Surwack to not swing to the bottom. So, interesting chain of events that's led Montgomery Spencer back to the pit lane. Andrew Surwack is coming back out onto the racing surface after getting a new front wing. There's Liam O'Sullivan. He continues to run second. They've drawn about a second away from Jari Brubaker now, Ryan.
Yeah, they are most certainly pulling away, and it's not quite a two-horse race yet, but it's getting there.
It's not, and you wonder with Liam, you wonder if Liam perhaps has abandoned any thought of saving the fuel. Thinking, look, there's no way we can make it. Forsyth now is running the same speed as Mason Mitchum, so that would lead me to believe that he's abandoned the fuel save. He's gotten past Stouffer. There's Craig. He ran a 25.374, and he has started to come to the front now. 22-lap old tires. Craig Forsyth is moving in the right direction toward the front of this field, And I'm gonna show you something, Ryan. As there goes the lap machine, that is Montgomery Spencer up there. I would be willing to bet you a shiny new dime that Forsyth has gone back and watched his stream of the races that he and I have done here at Kentucky, because he's driving almost my line, same gear shift patterns, the whole bit.
So if he wins tonight, if Craig wins tonight, it's all because of you.
I'm going to ask for partial credit if Forsyth wins the race tonight. How's that?
Okay.
Now, Craig and I, there's a race you can go back and watch on P1, Ryan. It is the original votive Indy Derby, and it wasn't even called that at that point. It was just the NASR votive round at Kentucky. I came from the back, and Craig and I had a bit of a duel for the win. I came off best, but it was interesting to hear his interview after, and then of course Craig being very, very, very awesome about it. He was asking, how I had run it, and I told him, and he has adopted that same thing, the same downshift to fourth, the same lifting patterns. There's a quick way around here, and Craig Forsyth is definitely running it back to the front. Liam O'Sullivan, well, he's now fallen about 0.8 of a second behind Mason Mitchum. Liam O'Sullivan, that's the disadvantage, as you see off the front of his machine. And if you get on the gearbox, he's got about second and 0.3, second and 0.4 back to Yari Brubaker. So he's kind of on an island right here, Ryan.
Yeah, we're...
Yellow's out. It's Chris Stouffer. Stouffer hard in the wall. That's turn 3. Chris Stouffer has brought out the yellow light. And we've got more trouble here. Here's Stouffer. He's around the outside of Matt Wagner. And let's see what's happened to Chris. An incredibly experienced guy. Looks like he gets he gets a lot of understeer going through turns 1 and 2. And he's going to get tagged by Eric Peterson going down the back. And I don't believe this is quite done yet, Ryan, because he's going to ride the wall there. He's going to try to turn in. Of course, the rear wing is gone, and so Stover spins it. And there's going to be another car come through here. That's Jacob Wilson that you saw go through the grass. I had thought that maybe there was another car that took evasive action. Is that out? No, that's Nate Fields you see in the grass. Everybody else gets woed up, and Stouffer's going to come grab himself a fast repair. He doesn't lose a lap, Ryan. That's the way you do it, right?
Where you make sure your car is still moving after you have an accident.
That's right. If in a league with fast repairs, if you can keep it moving in the right direction and stay on the lead lap, you go to the back of the line, but you're not going to lose your whole race. 51 of 133 complete here at Kentucky in the Horizon IndyCar Series. Do want to thank our massive audience for joining in tonight. Do want to thank everybody for taking time out of their Wednesday to look into the P1 Broadcasting Network. If you haven't already done so, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell to subscribe to P1, and be sure so that you can be sure to be notified of all of our future iRacing broadcasts. Tomorrow night it'll be Sam Crow and I with the Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series. That race, Ryan, that's been a dandy of a series, by the way. That race is going to be from the wine country. That's out at Sonoma. You know what I'd heard, Ryan, and somebody had said this, and I think it would be a tremendous idea. They should give us the option to have green Sonoma and green Laguna Seca.
Have winter Sonoma.
Well, have you ever seen Liam O'Sullivan beat Mason Mitchum back out of the pit lane, by the way? Have you ever seen the pictures of like preseason testing at Sonoma, Laguna Seca? You ever seen those?
Yeah, it's Sonoma where they have the sheep out there grazing.
Yeah, they've got the sheep out there. There's green grass. It looks absolutely picturesque. They go back in the middle of the summer and everything is dirt, right? So we should get that option in the sim. If iRacing is listening, give us green Sonoma and green Laguna Seca. By request, make it so we can turn the grass green. That would be terrific. But we'll have all that action from the Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series tomorrow, 8:20 p.m. pre-race, 8:35 start. Sam Crow and I on the call. Saturday, we're going to have the iRacing IndyCar Series presented by 40 Racewear. That's going to be Laguna Seca at 2 p.m. Gary Godso will have that one. And then the Votive IndyCar Series will be at Twin Ring Motegi. That's at 8 o'clock Sunday night. I am looking forward to that one, Ryan.
Yeah, that should be fun.
You know, it better be fun. Monday night, Jacob Collins and I will have the top split IndyCar Open Series race from Laguna Seca at 8, and then the Sim Gaming Expo ISRA Open Wheel Series from Legacy Atlanta immediately following. So we've got a lot of iRacing action up for everybody. The green flag is out here at Kentucky in the Horizon IndyCar Series. Liam O'Sullivan leads it. Mason Mitchum has dropped back to second on the pit cycle. Yari Brubaker is third. Shane Coker pops in. He says, yeah, it's Votive's 1-year birthday race. I am looking forward to running the 1-year birthday race just as much as I was running the original Indy Derby at Kentucky, Shane. You're going to Motegi, and I am here for it. Yari Brubaker is here for it. He's stopping to the inside of Mason Mitchum for second. Brubaker is going to make a challenge for the lead here, boys.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be a three-way fight.
Yeah, it's going to be a three-way fight. O'Sullivan has it. Mitchum wants it back. Yari Brubaker would love to subscribe to having the lead here. And you've got the interested observer in Jeff Highsong. I bet if we jumped on board Jeff Highsong's roll bar, you'd see a pretty you'd have a pretty awesome view of this fight for the lead. There you are on board Jeff Highsong. We'll give the fans at home some telemetry to look at too. Just gonna touch 220 miles an hour above it a little bit. Going into turn 1, they're 3 wide, Ryan.
And they are making moves that I would not recommend doing.
I mean, those moves are okay late in the race. It's definitely cool to make that move with 5 to go. I don't necessarily know about making it with 77 to go.
Yeah.
Might not be one that I would make at this point in the race, but that's why I've been retired to the booth, right? Mason Mitchum has gotten back to the lead. He has made the pass over Yari Brubaker, and as you saw right in the cockpit of Jeff Highsong, well, Liam O'Sullivan has gone back to third, and this action has allowed Highsong in the Bluey machine to catch up, and he's brought Forsyth and Matt Wagner with him. Wagner's looking on the inside. He's going to try to get around Highsong for fourth. And you know what that's done, what that yellow did right there in that pit stop cycle, Ryan? We didn't talk about it when it happened, but that eliminated every bit of the fuel strategy that was being played out. It's just a straight up one stop from there, right?
Yeah, one stop to the end. Everyone's going to have to come in at some point, and that means everyone's just going to be pushing 10/10ths the rest of the way through.
You got it. Mason Mitchum leads it. Yari Brubaker second. Liam O'Sullivan third. They have separated themselves. The fight is for fourth. Forsyth gets by Highsong. Now here's Matt Wagner. He's going to climb to the outside of Highsong, looking through turns 1 and 2. Didn't quite make it. And look at how high Wagner is trying to get in that clean air, Ryan. Not a lot of racing room for Wagner. Highsong offset right there. Wagner got a face full of dirty air on the front wing of his Horizon machine. That's going to drop him back to Sheridan Wade, who is going to look at the gearbox of the number 6. Highsong is going to attempt, I think, to get back to Forsyth, but Forsyth is an old pro, Ryan, and just look at him. He's fourth now. It's not going to be long. We get some heat on these tires. Give it another 15 laps. I bet you we see Craig Forsyth move forward yet again.
Yeah, because looking on the feed, it might look like there's a train behind Craig, but no, he's pulling them along, not the other way around.
Yeah, he most certainly is. And just watch, he's going he's going a little bit lower, down to third gear there. Craig Forsyth in turns 3 and 4. And that just tells you how smart Craig is. He is 100% making sure that he is saving those tires. That is the most important thing to do. Do not outrun your tires here for anybody in this field. You have to save those. You're going to need them late. Mason Mitchum, he's leading this thing. He doesn't really have to worry as much. But Jari Brubaker, he does. And let's look at Jari as he goes through, as he goes along. He's doing a lot of following Mason Mitchum here. You see, Ryan, how he's not really offsetting a whole lot? Well, now he does on the entry of turns 1 and 2. But you see how Jari isn't really offsetting a whole lot behind Mason Mitchum there?
Really?
Yeah, he's
sort of, there might be a bit of an offset on entry, but it's quickly right back to shadowing him for the toe.
It is, and that's going to really hurt Jari, I think, in the long run. We need to get back here, though, because Craig Forsyth has maneuvered the 4D Racewear car around Bluey into 4th. Heisong make him 5th, and Matt Wagner wants 6th. They've got a little bit of separation of Wade and Wynn and Durazo, but these three are in a heck of a fight, and they got about half a second to 6/10 looking forward to the machine of Liam O'Sullivan. So this is by far the best fight on the circuit. 4th is Forsyth in the 4D car, then Bluey along in 5th. That's Heisong. The Horizon IndyCar machine, series director Matt Wagner is 6th. Now, Ryan, we've come to 68 of 133. I'm not the smartest of cookies. I did go to Ball State. But that means that we're past halfway. So we're going to start counting backwards now. 66 laps to go. 17 laps since the last pit. We know they can go about 50, so they can go 33 more. That means that the farthest reaches of the fuel tank are going to be with 33 laps to go. Ryan, when do you anticipate some of these gentlemen beginning to peel off onto the pit lane?
I'd say they're going to run into the tank dry. They're going to go as late as they can.
Go as late as you can. You don't think you're going to have anybody short pit it, try to get the advantage?
It's difficult because obviously there is an advantage in trying to undercut the opposition, but that could come back off. As I say that,
it's a moot.
It's again, but we have a yellow.
Yeah, it's a moot point now. That's Nate Fields slow. He's got Alex Miller and Joseph Morales down there with him. And what has befallen Nate Fields? Here he is. That's Alex Miller directly behind the Nate Fields machine. And let's see what we've got here. Fields goes to the high side, or is going to the high side. That's Miller into the picture on the bottom. And this is going to be one of those classic Kentucky or Texas. It appears to be netcode, but there was always going to be contact there, Ryan. We'll watch it from Alex Miller's point of view. But guy on the bottom couldn't hold the bottom. Guy on top came down. 2 cars meet in the middle. 2 cars go for a ride. Caution flag on the Kentucky Speedway with 63 laps to go in the Horizon IndyCar Series Kentucky 200.
You said there's always going to be a collision there. It's just one of those instances where you just have to be more aware of where your car is going on corner exit.
You most certainly do. The good news is for Fields and Miller, they both kept it going in the right direction, and so they will both be able to effect repair. Unfortunately for Miller, he's got the meatball, and I believe he has already used his fast repair, so that could be an issue for him. Meanwhile, we're about to see a decision here. You don't have to pit yet, but do you, Ryan? Don't have to pit yet, but do you? And there are some cars that stopped, and there are some cars that did not.
I'd say depending on how far back you are in the field, it might be worth it, because you probably still have to come in, but it'd be a far shorter stop.
You know what? We're going to give, there's the 4 cars that stayed out, and some of those things are very similar to the other, are they not, Ryan?
Yep, the 4 that stayed out, their cars look pretty similar.
O'Sullivan, Lover, and Hugo Gallo all part of the Velocity Online Racing team, of course, led by our good friend Julian Altena. Those 3 all stayed out. They also staying out is Chris Stouffer from the 40 Racewear squad. Mason Mitchum on back. They all pitted. So there you go, and that'll tell the story. O'Sullivan, Lover, and Gallas, they pitted. They stayed out. Stouffer stayed out. Mitchum on back. Those cars are all on fresh rubber, and they're going to be able to go till about 10 to go. This is an interesting call, Ryan. It's an interesting call because it's an interesting call to me because both ways have their advantages. The cars that stayed out, they're going to have to come in with about 30 to go, and they're going to have to take tires and a more full tank of gas. But the flip side of that is if this thing goes green, they are going to be much, much faster. They're going to have new tires, light tanks. The guys that just stopped are going to be able to take a splash, but their tires are going to be hurting for certain for at least 20 laps or so. Kind of a tortoise and the hare thing. The only disadvantage for O'Sullivan, Lover, and Gallows and Stouffer is, one, they got to make sure that they stay in front of the gentleman on tires. They also, Ryan, you know what they also need to do? They need to pray that the yellow doesn't come out during that 20 or so laps that they're going to be during that 20 or so laps that they're going to be out there, or that they're going to be out there a lap down. We're going to get in the blimp and watch this restart.
Green flag.
The green is out. Liam O'Sullivan gets a huge jump over teammates Lovert and Gallas. As we head toward turn 1, already seeing Mason Mitchum and Jari Brubaker start to mix that up. They've already disposed of Chris Stouffer.
Yeah, and we had a bit of an outburst. We had a bit of an outburst Craig Forsyth because one of the lap cars, Montgomery Spencer, pulled off but didn't go when the flag went green, so basically cleaving the field in half, and Spencer's been black flagged as a result.
Yeah, I do show the black flag for Montgomery Spencer. I do have the radio turned off. No need for the public to hear the radio transmissions, but Montgomery Spencer given the black flag here. We're watching Mason Mitchum work to the inside of Jari Brubaker, and so Mitchum has moved it back to 4th. He's looking out the nose of that Votive Racing League machine, and he's got some work to do. He's on the fresh rubber though, Ryan. He's got a huge advantage, but he's going to have to get there quick. The more laps that goes by, the better this is for Liam O'Sullivan, Gary Lovern, and Hugo Gallows.
Yeah, they're just hoping that they're able to just run out their strategy, because the moment we get a caution, oh boy, the tables will turn.
Well, everybody still has a stop though, Ryan. Watching Gary Lovern, that's a man that's been a high-class competitor for a long time. Right behind him, Hugo Gallows. Those are stalwarts in the IndyCar community. You don't always see them on the podium, but they're around in almost every race, giving a good account of themselves. Liam O'Sullivan, maybe one that the American fans don't hear of all that much, but Liam has turned himself into a very, very, very competent oval racer, and of course there he is. But Mason Mitchum is coming. Mitchum now underneath Lovern. That'll move him to third, and it's not going to be long before he gets around Hugo Gallas. And here comes Matt Wagner, the proprietor, as it were. He's looking to get by Lovern as well.
I wonder. I wonder how things are going to play out because, yep, Wagner gets alongside and gets the move done, and Glover continues to fall back from the field.
Well, Ryan, here we go. Mason Mitchum is dropped to the inside of Hugo Gallas, and he is just about to the back of the leader, Liam O'Sullivan. We were just watching in silence as Mason Mitchum quietly reels in Hugo Gallas. He didn't quite get there. Gallas appears to have turned up the wick, Ryan.
Yeah, appeared to turn up the wick and try to hold on to position. Because as we saw, during your brief intermission, that Gary Lovern's kind of fallen back to the field. And it's seemingly a case of the cars at the front being, drawn back in by the cars that came in the pit.
Now here he goes. Mitchum has got Gallas set up here. Is he going to be able to make the move? He's there on the inside. He's going to drop to fourth gear. He's not going to quite be able to get that run. Gallas did the right thing. He got to the outside. So what Mitchum needs to do here, Ryan, is he needs to draft up along the high side, and he needs to try to make that move on the high side on Gallas. Now, Gallas is a wily enough veteran. It's going to be difficult. You're going to take a stick of dynamite to get him off that high groove, and he's got the help from teammate Liam O'Sullivan, although Mitchum, I think, has it. And here comes Matty Wagner. Wagner's just about to go up the middle and make it 3 wide, Ryan.
Yeah, try to make it 3 wide.
Mitchum has the position now. So Mitchum gets by Gallas. Wagner is going to try to follow suit here going down the back. Mitchum did not give Wagner the draft. That was interesting. But Mitchum now looking to run down Liam O'Sullivan. Thing is, Liam O'Sullivan's got a half a second advantage, and as we said, every lap that this goes is better for Liam O'Sullivan. Every lap.
Let's see how quickly it can get to O'Sullivan's attenuator.
We're definitely going to see. Do love to see that. Matty Wagner to the inside of Gallas. So Wags, he's going to have. He's going to lay claim to the third spot. And there's the inside of Wagner as he drops to the bottom of Mitchum. Careful, boys. Careful. Now Wagner to the high side. He's going to try to go by Mitchum. He's going to have the advantage coming off of turn number 4. Matty Wagner is going to make a bid to go to second. Now, if you're Liam O'Sullivan here, Ryan, would you rather have Mason Mitchum behind you, or would you rather it be Matt Wagner? There's definitely a much documented experience gap between those two.
if I'm O'Sullivan, I'd be saying, why not both? If they're racing side by side, it helps my case out up front.
Yeah, he's pulled another 210s while these two race, and neither one of them wants to give up that spot. Now, if you're Mitchum, you want to kind of elbow Wagner out a little bit into 3 and 4. You want to kind of make him run the extreme top. If you're Wagner, you want to pinch Mitchum down all the way to the bottom. Both those drivers giving each other a ton of room right there, but I think the momentum on the top will eventually tell, as it does right there. But Wagner had to use up a ton of tire to get that done, and now he looks out the front of the number 6 Horizon IndyCar. He's looking out the front of that car at Liam O'Sullivan, see if he can't get it done.
And it's only a matter of time if that gap can be closed.
Most certainly so. Do once again want to thank everybody watching. We do have a large audience, Ryan, here tonight, and so want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you haven't already done so, please make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell to subscribe to the P1 Broadcasting Network, and be notified of all of our future iRacing events. Of course, tomorrow we'll have the Blackmagic Studios AMA series. That's going to be from Sonoma. It'll be the desert Sonoma, not the green one, unfortunately, but we'll petition iRacing to get the grass green around Sonoma. Saturday, Gary Gonzo at 2 o'clock is going to have the iRacing IndyCar series from Laguna Seca. That'll be at 2. And then Sunday night at 8 p.m., we're going to go to Twin Ring Motegi for the 1-year votive birthday race. How about that, Ryan? You ready for that one?
Can't wait.
I'll tell you what. You ought to come and sit on my spotter stand for that event. Liam O'Sullivan is bringing it to pit road. 40 laps to go. He's had enough. 43 laps on the tires for Liam O'Sullivan, and he has brought it to the pit lane. And so that answers the question. He's just going to split it in 2 here, Ryan.
Yeah, that might be the wise decision for him and the non-stoppers, so to speak, from the last caution.
You know, you've got all different kinds of ways you can split that. He's going to have new tires at just about the time that Matt Wagner and everybody who stopped are going to have their tires going off. And so here's Liam O'Sullivan. He's coming out the pit lane. We're going to get on board with him. We're going to put up the telemetry, Ryan, and we're just going to show him for a couple of laps and monitor the lap times, because this is going to be instructive. Wagner last time through ran a 25.478. Galla's 25.517. Here's O'Sullivan. He's getting up to speed now, and we'll see what kind of lap time pops up. Not this time, because this is the out lap, but the next time through. All right, so here's O'Sullivan. This is his first lap on the new tires. Wagner 25.571 the last time through. It almost makes you feel like Superman, Ryan, on new tires. And O'Sullivan has come out in the perfect spot. He didn't have any traffic around him either. He's got a couple of seconds up to the next car in front of him.
Yeah, this is what you want to see when you're trying to pull off the strategy and hope for a green run. That you come out in clean air and you just don't have to think about anyone else. You just go out there and hot lap.
You do. Now, Mason Mitchum has followed Liam O'Sullivan onto the pit lane, and Mitchum had tires. So that's an interesting call from the votive team. Their call was to come and get tires regardless. Liam O'Sullivan this time through 25.127, and that answers our question. The new tires, they're worth about 0.3 of a second. 21.1 for O'Sullivan, 25.143 to 25.458. So they're worth about 0.3 are the new tires. But I'll tell you what they're not worth, Ryan. Are they going to be worth the lap and a half that you're going to lose to come get them?
If you come out and, run, just 10, 20 laps like this, 0.3 up on the rest of the field, yes.
Whoa, Christopher! just came to the pit lane right in front of Daniel Durazo, Eric Peterson. That's going to check them up. Jacob Wilson is going to try to move to the outside of Durazo, thinks better of it. But this had been, I just put this up, this was the fight between Peterson, Durazo, and Wilson. That's 8th, 9th, and 10th here. Mark Cohn has also snuck into the picture. He's back there in 11th. Durazo and Peterson have been battling for most of this affair. And there's something that I did want to kind of point out as Hugo Gallas has decided to come to pit lane. Craig Forsyth was up in arms, Ryan, up in arms earlier regarding that restart. Matter of fact, Montgomery Spencer got a black flag for it, right?
Yep.
I wonder if having that space for Craig, essentially bonus clean air for him and his ability to save tires, I wonder if that didn't wind up saving him some of that Firestone rubber, because he is caught Sheridan Wade and he is going to make that move within the next couple of laps. They've been out 31 laps. These guys are going to have to stop. The question is when. The question is when do you stop, and how long are those new tires effective? Last time through, Liam O'Sullivan, 25.307. So he started to fall back toward that 25.5 mark that the leaders are running, and he's been out there for 8 laps now, Ryan. It's not going to be 0.3 of a second forever, is it?
No, it's not. And it's not going to be 0.3 forever. Either, obviously, because of tire fall off, but also everyone else also has to stop.
Yeah, and so, you know, really the difference is here, when are these drivers going to stop? Frank Wynn is now pulled up on the back of Craig Forsyth. He'll do battle now. They'll do battle now for 5th. That's Forsyth in 5th. Frank Wynn is in 6th. They've got Sheridan Wade just up the road. This is the best battle on the racing surface at the moment. For position, they've got Jeff Heisong just a little bit further up from them as well. Matty Wagner has a 2.5 second lead over Jari Brubaker. That's awful close. Craig's just going to come right back on the outside. Frank Wynn had to lift to avoid the contact. Craig kept his boot in it and said, "I'll have that spot back." And I'm surprised, but I am surprised that Forsyth has not made the move on Sheridan Wade. By the way, they are catching Jeff Heisong at a pretty rapid clip. Both these cars, Forsyth is a 10th quicker than Wade. Wade is a 10th quicker than Heisong. They are both a little bit quicker than Jari Brubaker. Of course, Jari is a second up the road. Matty Wagner is a couple of tenths of a second quicker than everyone. As you see, Heisong now pull it down the pit lane, so he's elected to come 27 laps to go. This is going to get interesting, Ryan. It's all going to come down to when you pit.
When you pit and where you come out relative to the people behind you that have already stopped.
You know what? I'm calling it 20 to go. Here comes Forsyth. He's going to bite the bullet with 20. Come to get 25 to go. The only person who really doesn't have to make that decision is that man right there, Matt Wagner, because he's got that 2.6 second lead, and because he's going to have everybody that's not in the front 7 a lap down. He's going to stay out as long as possible and say, "All right, boys, if you have a yellow, I'm going to come get me a free pit stop and have you all trapped a lap down," right?
No, without a doubt. This is the ideal situation to be in.
It is the ideal situation for Matt Wagner. He's going to stay out as long as possible. Frank Wynn, he's going to try to charge around the outside of Sheridan Wade. Can't quite make it, but these cars can go another 12, maybe anywhere from 12 to, as Wade comes into the pit lane, they can go anywhere from 12 to another 15 laps. He doesn't really have to stop until 9 to go. Frank Wynn glitches out, blinks out. But does come back, thankfully, for the Japan Candy Store machine. And there he is, the familiar pink. And is that teal blue?
Yeah.
There he is. It's a pretty car for Frank Wynn. You see the purple lap just went to Jeff Heisong, and that's what new tires will do, 24.909. Heisong is on a tear. Go back to Liam O'Sullivan. He's still a couple of tenths quicker than Matt Wagner. He is now fallen in behind Mark Cohn. MC has moved himself into 5th, and that's the LC Motorsports campaigner. I run on his team in the Dark Horse Series. He's a fun dude. But Mark Cohn there in the 39, familiar to those of you who tune into the Lionheart Series of the past, but Mark Cohn in the 39, and those are his Lionheart colors. Sheridan Wade with a black flag speeding on pit lane, but O'Sullivan can't quite make as easy a work as Cohn. Mark Cohn had to lift, and now Mark Cohn's headed for pit lane. But O'Sullivan is not gaining as rapidly as he once was. Matty Wagner has pulled it onto the pit lane at 20 laps to go, Ryan. So there's your leader. He's going to come in. He's going to bolt on 4 new stones, take just what I would imagine would be about 4 gallons of gas, and head back out here, see if he can't finish this baby. But that's a calculated stop right there, Ryan, to maximize the tire advantage, is it not?
Yep, maximize the tire advantage, get what you can out of them, and see what your competition does.
He does not have to baby his stuff. He can run flat out, full rich, light tanks, brand new stones. Where's he going to come out in relation to Liam O'Sullivan? So Liam is it's going to wind up that Liam is going to be about 6 or 7 seconds by the time it's all over with ahead of Matt Wagner. The problem for Liam is going to be he will have used up the good on his Firestones. Wagner is going to be unleashed, and so we're going to keep track of that. Meanwhile, Jari Brubaker, 45 laps on his current run. Frank Wynn, same. Nate Fields, 44, coming to 45. They have not stopped. They've got everybody trapped a lap down, and they can go another 5 to 10 laps here, Ryan.
Jari made the call. Jari's coming in now.
Yep, so Jari Brubaker is going to blink. He's going to come, and that's going to mean Frank Wynn is going to be your leader. And we've seen Frank Wynn run some pretty wily fuel strategies. Is he going to be able to take this just far enough, get a lucky yellow, trap everybody a lap down? We'll see. By the way, the difference in lap times, that time by for O'Sullivan, 25.464. Wagner, 25.004. So he is half a second a lap quicker. At this pace, Wags will catch Liam O'Sullivan in about 10 laps. So it is possible that we could have a dandy of a finish, Ryan. Old tires, new tires, wily veteran versus newcomer. This could get quite interesting quite quickly, my friend.
Well, Frank made the call. He's coming in.
All right, so Frank Wynn is gonna be the final car to stop. He will have gone 49 laps. We will follow him into the pit lane just to show everybody this is what it looks like trying to one of these cars down to get it onto the pit, get it on the pit lane. Frank Wynn does it, and that is going to hand the lead provisionally to Liam O'Sullivan, we think. Liam's going to have to pass him twice, though, Ryan. He's going to have to go around him there and then come all the way back around and pass him again to take the lead.
Yeah, this ain't over yet. It's going to be tight.
It is going to be very tight. Frank Wynn is still your leader. He's sitting on pit road. He is out of the box. He took gas only. This is going to be fun. Frank Wynn gas only. He is coming back out onto the racing surface. He did not beat Liam O'Sullivan off. Liam, Mason Mitchum, Hugo Gallas. Frank Wynn is going to slot. There goes Peterson, Hysong. And here comes a lot of cars. You got Wagner doing battle with Jacob Wilson. Durazo trying to get around Wilson. Move those cars to 8th and 9th, respectively. Next up on the hit parade for Wagner is Jeff Hysong in the Bluey machine. That did not work out for Frank Wynn. He is back to 13th, and he is on old tires. So there goes Matty Wagner. Daniel the Cat goes underneath him. Those two are going to do battle for ninth. Those guys are both on same tires, and that's not doing them any good, Ryan, to fight it out, is it?
No, not at all.
Meanwhile, back at the front, Mason Mitchum is trying to close down on Liam O'Sullivan. The problem for Mason is that Liam is ahead of him. Liam is also a lap fresher on tires. Third place is not all that far behind Mason Mitchum. That's Hugo Gallas. Now, Gallas stayed out an extra 7 laps, and so Hugo does have a tire advantage over both the cars in front of him. But the fastest man of this front 5, that's Craig Forsyth. The problem for Forsyth, his tires are half as old as O'Sullivan and Mitchum. The problem is he's 2.5 seconds back. Now, he's catching them at 0.3 a lap, 25.4 that time for O'Sullivan, 25.1 for Forsyth, 0.3 a lap at 9 laps to go. Help me out, Ryan.
We're running out of distance. That's all I got.
We're running out of time. Catching the man is also one thing, passing him is another. Hugo Gallas has gone by Mason Mitchum. This could be a Velocity Online Racing 1-2. There's Hugo Gallas. There's Liam O'Sullivan. Great run for that VOR team here tonight. O'Sullivan is your leader. Gallas is second. Mason Mitchum is third, the final spot on the podium. Craig Forsyth, we talked about it. Craig is coming, but he's running out of laps. 1.7 seconds. He's got 8 laps to go, Ryan.
8 to go. You got to be picture perfect these last few laps.
If there's anybody in the field that's capable of pulling this off, it would be a veteran like Craig. He's 25-1 the last time through, 25.44 the same for O'Sullivan. Again, he's that same 0.3 quicker, but now he's in traffic. He's going to have to dispose of Mason Mitchum very rapidly here if he's going to catch Gallas and O'Sullivan. And remember, Gallas and O'Sullivan are teammates. And if you're Mason Mitchum, you're not going to roll over here either, although Forsyth gets a huge run and makes that a moot point. You wouldn't want to roll over there. That's a podium, and I don't believe Mason Mitchum has had one of those.
No, it just seemed like Mitchum just didn't have the pace to begin with compared to Craig.
No, and that worked out absolutely perfectly for Craig Forsyth because he got the draft from Mitchum. He didn't have to waste any time getting around him. It actually caused him to go about a tenth of a second quicker that lap. He was 0.4 that time, 1.3, he's under a second now with 5 to go. And this is about when I thought that he would catch them. Craig Forsyth is there and still just a couple of tenths a lap quicker that time. At this rate, Forsyth would get there, coming to get the white flag. That's assuming he can get around Hugo, and that's not going to be easy. O'Sullivan and Gallas are teammates. They are in the same Discord. They are going to be working together here, Ryan.
Yeah, they're going to do what they can to slow Craig down. If Craig gets second, they're going to make sure that it's hard fought and hard won, and he doesn't have a chance to win.
Yeah, there they go. You're looking out the back of the vintage Players livery 40 racewear machine of Craig Forsyth off of the Velocity Online Racing car of Hugo Gallas. Craig is coming. Don't know that he can quite get there, though. He's made a valiant effort, but it looks like it's going to come up about a half a second short. Hugo Gallas is second. Liam O'Sullivan is the leader. The Velocity Online Racing cars have brought it this evening here in the Horizon IndyCar Series. And they've executed the strategy to perfection. O'Sullivan leads it. Gallas second. They're going to come to get the white flag. Craig Forsyth, though, is now right there. White flag is out.
Can he get a run down the back stretch?
That's a great question. Can he? It's going to be can he is the question. It's not going to be enough. Craig is going to get to the back of Hugo Gallas, but he's not going to get any further forward. Liam O'Sullivan is going to come across the line. Twin checkers are in the air, and he'll win the Kentucky 200 here in the Horizon IndyCar Series. Hugo Gallas is second. Craig Forsyth will bring it home third. That was a fun race, Ryan. A ton of fun.
Ton on-track action, intrigue, pit strategy, had it all.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. We're gonna get all that stuff out of there because Ryan Eric King, we've got some results. For the win tonight, Liam O'Sullivan is going to be your winner. In second, you've got the machine of Hugo Gallas. The two teammates, 63 and 57, are going to run 1-2. In third and making up the bottom step of the podium is going to be the old veteran. That's Craig Forsyth. In fourth spot, well fought, the pole sitter, Mason Mitchum. He'll come home in fourth. Daniel Durazo, what a run for Daniel the Cat. He's going to wind up fifth. How about that? Sixth, Chris. Yeah, great run for him. Chris Stouffer, sixth. Yari Brubaker, seventh. Jeff Heisong, eighth. Matt Wagner, ninth. Mark Cohn will round out the top 10. In 11th, Jacob Wilson. Eric Peterson is 12th. Frank Wynn, 13th. Gary Lovern, 14th. Turner Johnson is 15th. Joseph Morales, Nate Field, Sam Cosner, Alex Miller, and Sheridan Wade will round out the top 20. In 21st, Andrew Serwak, Montgomery Spencer out of the race, as is Joseph Klein, Lith Fox. Shane Coker, of course, did not take the start. He is race control. And that's going to bring us, Ryan, to talk to that man right there, Craig Forsyth. I'm interested to see what Craig's going to have to say here. Give everybody a chance to catch their breath. Craig Forsyth, you've got Murph and Ryan Eric King in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
You betcha I do, guys. Hey, how's that going?
You know, that was a mad dash right there, brother. Trying to reel in Hugo and Liam. We kept mathing, and my Ball State education didn't like that. But we thought that you were going to get there with about 5 to go. You got there with about 5 to go. Was the stuff used up by the time you got there?
My tires literally had flames coming out of them at that point. They were the last stint, it was unfortunate on the restart there. We got checked up, and we spent the whole rest of those run trying to make up that time. And as soon as I started getting held up, when the pit window was open, Chris went in, Stouffer went in, when those guys who'd stayed out, when they ran out of fuel. And then I think at that point I was behind Heisong and Mason, and it was just wasn't making any more progress. Decided that we were going to do the undercut as well, and just try and jump everyone if it stayed green, because that was really the only way we were going to make up time. It turned out working out perfectly. We got a huge jump on people, and that cut a lot of the gap up to the leaders. And we had the fresher tires, so it was just a matter of would we run out of tires before we ran out of time. And unfortunately, we ran out of tires.
Copy that, Ryan. What do you have for the veteran of these wars in the bottom step of the podium today?
Now, I know you mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, Mark, and I know you're too humble to ask yourself. Craig, earlier in the broadcast, Mark implied that that you went back and reviewed the film from races here at Kentucky that you had with Mark, and you learned from it. Is that true?
It has to be. You were running my line.
What I did yesterday, and everyone knows that.
you did. I will say this. So I was admiring your lifting and shifting points. They looked awfully familiar, Craig, and so well done.
I was just doing what Chris was telling me to do, honestly, because he was berating me for driving too hard into the corners for the first, I think, 20 laps of the race. And we had to readjust to the problem is that I start to forget which track I'm at, so I start driving it wrong.
Didn't Michael Waltrip make a commercial to that effect at one point? Anyway, if any of you are interested out there, and we have a huge audience tonight, Craig. If any of you are interested out there, this guy right here, Craig Forsyth, is a highly entertaining, has a highly entertaining channel on YouTube, Forsyth Gaming, I believe. Correct?
That is correct.
So you can put the P1 broadcast up on one screen. You can put Craig's stream up. It is informative. It is entertaining. It is where I learn everything I know. comes from Craig Forsyth and watching his stream. So go out and check him out. Other than that, Craig, friends, family, sponsors, shout outs. The floor is yours, man.
No, I got to thank Matt for opening the invitation to come out. We're normally not available on Wednesdays in the summer, but time slot opened up and he was like, "Yep, get in here." So everyone at Horizon, good bunch of guys on Wednesday nights, and Chris Stouffer, teammate, he's regular here, but we were able to pair up with him tonight. He came home in sixth. It's a good result overall for us, and. No, everyone in the up at P1 in the broadcast booth. Thank you for thank you for doing the broadcast for us, and everyone out there watching. Hope you enjoyed hope you enjoyed what P1 put on.
Hey, we definitely appreciate you, Craig. Get out of here, go have some fun. Tell Stouffer I said hello. And what's the handicap now?
Oh, I'm still stuck at a 10. We're at the age where we're not improving anymore.
Well, just move one tee further ahead, brother. We'll catch you next time. We'll catch you the next time. And I've got to find you and bring my golf clubs. We'll have a good time.
Anytime, my man.
Yes, sir.
Stay safe.
You do the same. That is Craig Forsyth. He runs in the third spot today. For second place, I get to talk to somebody that I have long Ryan Eric King awaited the chance to talk to. That is the Velocity Online racing machine of Hugo Gallas. Hugo, you got Murph, you've got Ryan Eric King in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah. Hi, Mark. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, I tell you what, man. You brought it. You put that thing 14th on the grid. You bring it home second. Tell us about your day, man. That was an awesome drive.
Really hard race. Julian for the strategy. In the lap, maybe 50, 55, I don't know. I did make the pit, but Liam say no. Okay. For these reasons, thanks Liam for the strategy. Guys, my English, it's not good, but I try the best here. And that's the thing. The race was really hard, and the setup is complicated but fun, and the race is works for us.
Yeah, it really worked out well for you and your teammates, and was it a difficult drive at the end, especially with Craig coming up behind you during the closing laps?
I see the relative, Craig, 2.5, 2 seconds, 1.5. Oh Jesus! When I can pass Mason, I relax because I say I had a podium. But I don't know if P2 or P3, but I in that moment I think that the podium is mine.
Yeah, and you got the job done.
Yeah, you most certainly did. And Hugo, it's not very often that we get to talk to you on the podium, and so congratulations, my man. I've raced with you in the past, and you're such a good guy. Friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs. Floor is yours, dude.
Oh, greetings for the team, for Liam, Gary, and all of guys, my family, my wife, my son, and guys, Mark, Ryan for the broadcast. Really good job. And Matt for the league. And that's all.
Yeah, no worries, man. Get out of here. Go celebrate. Have some fun, dude. You have earned it, Hugo, and congratulations on the podium. It's awesome to see you up here.
Thank you, Mark. Bye.
Yes, sir. That is Hugo Gallas. He's on the middle step, and hopefully this man right here is from the top spraying the champagne down on Hugo. It's Liam O'Sullivan. Liam, you started on the outside pole for Mason Mitchum. You guys got a wonderful strategy call to stay out. Weren't sure how that was going to work, but you all made it happen. Congratulations on the 1-2. Talk to the public out there about how you did it. You guys have a big crowd here tonight for this one.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? The caution came about lap 80 odd, and
something like that. Yeah.
it was obvious that, well, it's one more stop even if you pit here still, and we still had over half a tank. So I was like, well, surely everyone's going to stay out. And then everyone comes filing down pit road, and I'm like, what's the point of pitting? So we all just stayed out. I was amazed only 4 of us stayed out. So then I was like, oh, well, we're screwed because everyone's going to eat us up. But then that didn't happen. Bit of team play, obviously, to aero block everyone, but
That's why you
had to
have
be done.
teammates, right?
It was a strategic decision to bring Hugo, who was about 12th, and Gary, who was about 10th at the time,
Sure.
up to the front and use it for them 8-10 laps, which were crucial. Obviously, big gamble that a caution didn't come out within that about 30 lap period. But otherwise, I mean, it couldn't have gone better. I mean, Mason was super strong out in front. I was struggling to pass him, and then when I restarted in front of him, he passed me straight away. So don't know whether that's just what I was running. I was 1-1 on the ARBs just because the right rear was cooking, so I didn't really want to raise my rear or use any weight jacker. But yeah, overall, I mean, again, another great team result, and a win, which I think is my first in about 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, it's good to see you up here, Ryan. What have you got for Liam there this evening?
So yeah, Liam, you talked about that last set of pit stops. What was the strategy, going into the race, especially with how it developed with the early cautions during the, about 20 laps into the race?
Yeah, I mean, with the early cautions, it's always like, well, we were kind of below half a tank, and it was like it wasn't worth the gamble because it was still the same amount of pit stops. So the first one we pitted because it made the 2-stop easier. It killed any fuel saving, and then the next one made it so it was only 1 more stop. So the early ones were worth pitting on, but it was that final one which I'm amazed not more stayed out, because to me it was a no-brainer. But I don't know, maybe it's my head at 2:30 in the morning, which it is in the UK, working differently from everyone else. But otherwise, yeah. As I said, the feeling when everyone came in for new tyres and only 4 stayed out was a bit scary, but we made it work.
I think it ended up playing out even more in your favor because of the checkup that happened in the field and the split that happened.
Yeah, I heard someone complaining over voice chat, so then I gunned it because I saw this relative holding him 3 seconds. And Matt was telling me he was going to throw the caution because of it, but then he didn't. So if you add the 3 seconds on, I mean, Craig definitely.
I'll remember that. I'll remember that the next time that I'm in a race with you, Liam. When somebody starts crabbing in the voice chat at a restart, you're going to take off. So I'll just know to take off whenever somebody starts yelling in the voice chat, right?
Yeah, I mean, I saw what was going on, and I don't think he really knew what he was doing. I'm unsure it was, but it caused enough confusion to put guys like Heisung, Wagner. I think Craig, I don't know if he was affected by it, but again, that little margin, but it all played out. But again, if more cars stayed out, we would have been in that situation as well. So strategy played absolutely beautifully, especially, I mean, you look at where Hugo finished from where he was in the middle of the field, not really anywhere. And I mean, it's a shame, I think Gary burned off his tyres, otherwise he would have been up here as well. So overall, great team result. And yeah, looking forward to, I think I missed the next round, but carrying on in this league while I can, while I've got nothing else going on. Summer holidays for me after exams, and yeah, here to kind of compete in as many leagues as possible and win as many races.
There you go. Well, that's what it's all about, chasing trophies, my friends. While you're up here, friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs, the floor is yours.
I want to say thank you to my mum and dad who are in bed. My granddad who's probably in bed. Yeah, they'll watch my granddad likes watching the replay, so I'm sure he'll get onto that in the morning. But yeah, I mean, obviously the team as well. I mean, we've taken leaps and bounds. I mean, you've seen Hugo's result here. Gary's up there 3 hours ago. Same thing with the Global IndyCar Challenge at Iowa. We were first through 4th on an open setup race and dominated the race. So again, the team's going even further forward. And yeah, fighting on all fronts, and hope it continues.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Liam. It's good to see you, buddy. Keep going fast, having fun, and we will see you when we see you. Hopefully it's at the next one, sir.
Yeah, bye.
Yes, sir. That is Liam O'Sullivan. He is the winner tonight. Ryan, we had an entertaining race for certain, sure. And I love these, right? I love the multiple strategies, the different. I love the multiple strategies. I love the different things all coming together at the end. At the end of the day, Liam O'Sullivan, the Velocity Online team, they were the winners. But I think the real winners were those of us who watched. That was an entertaining virtual motor race for sure.
Yeah, it's always great to see, a race that is exciting and unpredictable from start to finish. No one really had the race secured until the very end.
That's a great point. And if you want to see more unpredictable racing, I guarantee you tomorrow night the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series from Sonoma here on the P1 Broadcasting Network, I guarantee you that's going to be unpredictable. 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 start. That'll be Sam Crow and I. We're going to take Friday off here at P1. Saturday, Garrett Gatso is going to have the iRacing IndyCar Series presented by 40 Raceware. That's at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That'll be from Laguna Seca. Sunday night, the Vote of Indy Oval Series is going to happen 8 o'clock. Gary Godso on the call. That'll be from Twin Ring Motegi. I will be in that one, Ryan, and I personally expect you to be on my spotter stand. Monday night, the IndyCar Open Series top split will happen from Laguna Seca at 8, immediately followed by the Sim Gaming Expo ISRA Open Wheel Series from Legacy Atlanta at 9:35. On Tuesday, we'll have the flagship broadcast. That is the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday top split presented by Techtopia and Ryan. They are going to have it from Iowa. For everybody at the P1 Broadcasting Network, my name is Mark Murphy. My partner in crime, Ryan Eric King, our founder, Gary Gonzo. We would love to thank all of the fans who joined us this evening. Massive crowd. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell to subscribe to the channel so that you can get notifications for all future P1 broadcasting events. We'd also like to thank all of the first responders, the police, the fire, the military, the nurses in the emergency rooms, the EMTs on the back of the ambulances. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for doing the jobs in the middle of the night so that we can sleep soundly and in peace. Ryan, it's time, buddy. Let's get out of here until the next one, my friend.
Can't wait.
Yes, sir. Good night, everybody.